Good afternoon, dear children. As informed earlier, today's class we can do problems. Okay, of having the questions that I have given. Okay, also I have sent some important equations in the lesson, motion in a plane. Okay, you should thorough with that equations. Then only you can do the problems very easily. All of you learned that equations. I hope all of you learned that equations. Okay, then we can do the start to do the problems. Okay, let's do the first problem. The two forces 5 Newton and 7 Newton act on a particle with an angle of 60 degree between them. Find the resultant force. We have to find the resultant force. Here we have two forces. Here F1 that is taken as 5 Newton and the second force is taken as F2 that is actually 7 Newton. Isn't it? That these two forces acts on a particle with an angle of 60 degree with them. That is angle theta equal to 60 degree. Next we have to find the resultant force. We have to find the resultant force. Actually suppose if we have two vectors, that two vectors are inclined to some angle, then we know how we can get the resultant of the two vectors. You know the equation of the resultant of the, you know the equation for the magnitude of the two resultant vector, magnitude of the resultant vector. Okay, you know the equation R is equal to resultant vector, R is equal to square root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. You know that equations. There actually the vectors are A and B, but here we have to find the resultant of these two forces F1 and F2. So here we have to find the resultant of the two forces 5 Newton and 7 Newton that acts on a particle, and the angle between these forces are actually 60 degree. So we can find the resultant vector R as square root of, instead of A we can write F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Listen it. Actually this is the resultant of these two forces. Then we can substitute square root of F1 square, that is 5 square, plus F2 square 7 square, plus 2 into 5 into 7 into actually cos theta, actually cos 60, instead of theta actually cos 60. Listen it. Okay, instead of F1 we can write F1 square is 5 square, then 7 square plus 2 F1 F2, that is 2 into 5 into 7, then cos 60. Then we can simplify this as 5 square is actually 25 plus 49 plus actually 2 into 5 into 7 actually cos 60. Actually cos 60 is 1 by 2. Okay, cos 60 is actually 1 by 2, then 2 cancel, then 5 into 7 actually 35. Okay, then root of 25 plus 49 plus 35, that is actually 109. Okay, 109, root 109. Actually that is the 9 Newton. That is the resultant of these two forces F1 and F2 is actually root 109. Listen it. Here we have two forces of 5 Newton and 7 Newton. So the first force is taken as F1, that is 5 Newton, and the second force is taken as F2, that is actually 7 Newton, that acts on a particle with an angle of 60 degree between them. That is the angle between these two forces is actually 60 degree. So we have to find the resultant, the magnitude of the resultant force. We have to find the magnitude of the resultant force. We know the general equation. The resultant of the two vectors when they are inclined to some angle. What is the resultant? R is equal to root of a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Here instead of the vectors A and B, we have the two forces. Okay, F1 and F2. F1 and here actually vector, so we have to represent it by vector symbol. Okay. Then instead of a square we can write F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Then we can substitute the values. 5 square plus 7 square plus 2 into 5 into 7 into cos 60 is actually 1 by 2. Then simplifying this, we will get the magnitude of the resultant vector is root 109 Newton. And the second question is, two forces whose magnitudes are in the ratio 3:5 give a resultant of 35 Newton. If the angle of inclination is 60 degree, find the magnitude of each force. That is the question. Here two forces whose magnitudes are in the ratio 3:5. So we can consider the two forces as F1 and F2. So F1 is to F2 is actually 3:5. So here F1 can be written as 3x and F2 can be written as 5x. Okay. Give a resultant of 35 Newton. Here the resultant of these two forces is given actually in the question, that is 35 Newton. Okay, also the angle of inclination theta is given as 60 degree. The angle of inclination is given as 60 degree. Then we have to find the magnitudes of F1 and F2. We have to find the magnitudes of the two forces F1 and F2. That is the question. Okay, we can use the same equation, the resultant of two vectors. Here actually force. Okay, so the resultant vector or the resultant force R is equal to square root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. 2F1 F2 cos theta. That is the equation for the resultant force. And actually here the resultant force is given as 35. So 35 is equal to square root of F1 is actually 3x the whole square plus F2 square is 5x the whole square plus 2 into F1, that is 3x into F2, 5x into cos 60. Actually it is 1 by 2. Then it is square root of 3x the whole square is 9x square, 5x the whole square is 25x square plus actually 2 cancel and 3 into 5 15x square. Okay, that is square root of 9x square plus 25x square plus 15x square. Okay, by adding all these things we will get 49x square. 49x square, that is 35 is equal to 49x square, that is actually it is 7x. Root 49x square is 7x. So 35 is equal to 7x and x can be written as 35 by 7, that is actually it is 5. Listen it. So we got the value of x as 5. Then substitute here F1 is actually 3x. Then 3 into x is actually 5. So 5, that is 15 Newton. Okay, then F2 is actually 5x. Then 5 into x, 5 into 5, that is 25 Newton. Actually these are the magnitudes of each force. F1 is equal to 15 Newton and F2 is equal to 25. F2 is equal to 25 Newton. Isn't it? Here two forces whose magnitudes are in the ratio. So the two forces are written as F1 and F2. So F1 is to F2 is actually 3:5. So we can write F1 as 3x and F2 as 5x. And the resultant of this force is given as 35 Newton. And the angle of inclination between F1 and F2 is 60 degree. Here we have to find the magnitudes of F1 and F2. So we have the relation resultant vector R is equal to square root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. Then substitute the values. R as 35 is equal to F1 3x the whole square plus F2 5x the whole square plus 2 3x into 5x into cos 60 is 1 by 2. Then we got like this, root of 9x square plus 25x square plus 15x square. So we got it as 49x square. From this 35 is equal to square root of 49 7 square root of x square x. So 7x equal to 35 and x equal to 5 actually. So we got the first force F1 as 3 into x. So 3 into 5 is 15 Newton. The second force F2 as 5x, that is 5 into 5 25 Newton. So actually these are the magnitudes of these two forces, 15 Newton and 25 Newton. Next the third question is, the resultant of equal forces, acting at right angles to each other is 14 Newton. Find the magnitude of either force. That is the question. The resultant of two equal forces. Here the two forces are equal. That is F1 equal to F2 is taken as F. Actually they are equal. These two forces are equal. They are acting at right angles to each other. So the angle between F1 and F2, that is theta, is equal to 90 degree. Okay. And the resultant is given as, the resultant R is equal to 14 Newton. Listen to it. We have to find the magnitude of either force. We have to find the magnitude of either force. Here also we are using the same equation. The resultant force R is equal to square root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Listen to it. Here actually F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F actually. So it is F square plus F square. Then actually here the value of cos 90 is 0. So this term becomes 0. And this is equal to square root of 2 F square. So root 2 square root of F square is actually F. Listen to it. And here it is given as R is 1414. Okay, 1414. That is equal to, you know the value of root 2. Actually it is 1.414 into F. Okay, we can write F as 1414 divided by 1.414. Okay, in order to remove the decimal, we can multiply here it as 1000. Okay, that is 1000 into 1.414. Actually it is 1414. Here also in numerator also we have to multiply by 1000. That is 1414 into 1000. Okay, these two cancel. Actually the resultant, the magnitude of force is actually 1000 Newton. So we can write F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. So we can write F1 equal to F2 is equal to 1000 Newton. F1 equal to F2 is equal to actually 1000 Newton. Listen to it. Here we have, and the resultant of two forces acting at right angles to each other is actually 14 Newton. So here the two forces are equal. Let it be F1 and F2. It is equal to F. Since these two forces are equal. Okay. And here the two forces are acting at right angles. So the angle between these two forces is actually 90 degree. And the resultant of these forces is also given as 14 Newton. So we have to find F1 and F2. For that we are considering the relation. The resultant vector R is equal to, or the resultant force R is equal to square root of F1 square plus F2 square plus 2 F1 F2 cos theta. Okay, here F1 equal to F2 equal to F actually. So F square plus F square. Here cos 90, that is equal to 0. So we get root 2 F square. Actually root 2 into root of F square is F. Okay, so we can substitute R as 1414, that is equal to, you know the root 2, the value of root 2 is actually 1.414 into F. From this F can be written as 1000 Newton. Here actually 1414 divided by 1.414. We had to remove the decimal. So we have to multiply it by 1000. So we got 1414. Here also in numerator also we have to multiply by 1000. Okay, and these two cancels and remaining is 1000 Newton. Okay, so we got F as 1000 Newton. Actually F is equal to F1 equal to F2. So we can write F1 equal to F2 as 1000 Newton. Next, the fourth question is, two forces F1 equal to 3I plus 4J and F2 equal to 3J plus 4K are acting simultaneously at a point. What is the magnitude of the resultant force? Listen to it. Here two forces, F1 is equal to 3I plus 4J. 3I plus 4J, and F2 as 3J plus 4K. 3J plus 4K. These two forces acting simultaneously at a point. We have to find the resultant vector R. We have to find the resultant vector R. Listen it here actually the forces are given in terms of orthogonal triad of unity vectors, in terms of orthogonal unity vectors or base vectors, the forces are given. In this case, in order to find the resultant vector, we have to just add these two forces, that is F1 plus F2, that will give the resultant of the two vectors. Okay, so we have that F1 as 3i plus 4j, then F2 as 3j plus 4k. Here, in order to find the resultant of these two forces, we have to just add. First, we have to add the terms containing I. Then we have to add the terms containing j. Then we have to add the terms containing k. Isn't it? Here actually 3i. 3i is here, but here no I term. In the second force, there is no I, the term containing I. So actually here it is 3i plus here it is 4j, then here it is 3j. So 4 plus 3, 7j. Okay, then plus actually here there is no the term containing k vector, unit vector, but here it is 4k. Actually here it is, we have to write here it is 0k. Okay, 0 k plus 4k, actually that is 4k. Okay, this is a way to add or a way to find the resultant of two forces if it is given in terms of orthogonal unity vectors. Okay, first we have to suppose if there is any item here, we have to just add this item with this item. Okay, but here it is no item, so we have to just write this 3i alone. Okay, so 3i plus 4j plus 3j, actually it is 7j. Then here there is no k term, so here only this we have to write here plus 4k, that is actually the resultant vector R is equal to 3i plus 7j plus 4k. But we have to find the magnitude of the resultant force. We have to find the magnitude of the resultant force. Okay, we already learned that in the rectangular components of unity vectors, suppose we have the rectangular components of vector A as, that thing you know, AXI plus AYJ. This is actually the rectangular components. We consider the x and y direction only. Okay. So, then what is the magnitude of the resultant vector A? Actually, it is how we can write AX square plus AY square, like this. Okay, but here the Z axis is also involved. So, in that case, we have to write AZ square. This is the way to find the magnitude. I think we already learned. Okay, in the rectangular components. Actually, in the case of rectangular components, actually there are two axes, only x and y axis. So we resolve the vector A there along the x and y direction. Actually, that is ax and ay. Actually, so A can be written as axi plus ay. So the magnitude of the vector A is actually root of ax square plus ay square. Suppose if there is two axes are involved, then we have to take the component along the z direction also. In that case, after AYJ, we have to write AZK. Isn't it? So the resultant vector is root of ax square plus ay square plus az square. Similarly, we can write the resultant, the magnitude of this resultant vector R as square root of 3 square. Okay, in the place of ax, actually here it is 3 square. Then the place of ay, here it is 7 square. Plus then az, it is 4 square. So we can write 3 square is 9. Then 7 square is actually 49. Then 4 square is actually 60. Okay, by adding all these things, we will get root 74 Newton. Actually, this is the magnitude of the resultant vector, root 74 Newton. Listen it, here we have two forces, F1 is 3i plus 4j and F2 is 3j plus 4k are acting simultaneously at a point. Then what is the magnitude of the resultant vector? Okay, if the forces are given in terms of orthogonal unity vectors, in order to find the resultant of these two forces, we have to just add Okay, the coefficient of term containing I, j and k. Then after adding this, we will get 3i plus 7j plus 4k. Then in order to find the resultant of these two vectors, we have to square and add. Okay, add the coefficients of I, j and k. Then after that take the root. Okay, so we can take square root of 3 square plus 7 square plus 4 square. Actually it is 9 plus 49 plus 16. Actually it is root 74 Newton. That is the magnitude of the resultant vector or resultant force. Next, the fifth question is, find the unit vector parallel to the resultant of the vectors. Vector A as I plus 4j minus 2k and vector B as 3i minus 5j plus k. Okay, here we have two vectors. Vector A as I plus 4j minus 2k and vector B as 3i minus 5j plus k. These are the given two vectors A and B. We have to find the unit vector parallel to the resultant of these vectors. Okay, we have to find the unit vector. We have to find the unit vector which is parallel to the resultant of these two vectors. So first of all, we have to find the resultant of these two vectors A and B. That is vector R is equal to vector A plus vector B. Okay, you know how to add if the two vectors are given in terms of orthogonal unit vectors. First we have to add the term containing I, corresponding coefficient of I. Here I plus 3i. Here actually it is 1i plus 3i. So it is 4i plus 4j minus 5j. Actually it is minus j. Then minus 2k plus k. Actually it is minus k. So the resultant vector is actually 4i minus j. Sorry, actually here 4 minus 5, actually it is minus j. Okay, here it is minus. Okay, 4i minus j minus k. That is the resultant vector. Okay, 4i minus j minus k is the resultant vector. We have to find the unit vector which is parallel to the resultant vector R. Okay, you know if the unit vector is actually but vector R divided by modulus of vector R. This is the equation that already you know. The unit vector is equal to vector R divided by modulus of vector I. Generally, you already learned unit vector A cap is equal to vector A divided by modulus of vector A. That is actually the equation for unit vector. Here the vector is R, only that is the difference. Okay, so unit vector is equal to vector R divided by modulus of R. Okay, next, so vector R, we know vector R, what is it? 4a minus j minus k. Next, we have to find the modulus of vector R. Okay, how we can find the modulus of vector R? Actually, it is 4 square plus minus 1 square plus minus 1 square. Okay, so actually it is 16 plus 1 plus 1. Actually it is root 18. That is the modulus of the resultant vector. Next, the unit vector is equal to vector R. Actually it is 4i minus j minus k. Okay, that divided by modulus is root 18. Actually, this is the unit vector which is parallel to the resultant vector R. Okay, the unit vector which is parallel to the resultant vector R is actually 4i minus j minus k divided by root 18. Listen it. Here we have to find the unit vector parallel to the resultant of the vectors. Vector A is I plus 4j minus 2k and vector B is 3i minus 5j plus k. Okay, first we have to find the resultant of these two vectors, that is vector A plus vector B, that is 4i minus j minus k. You know the unit vector is equal to vector R by modulus of R. So we have to find the modulus of R as 4 square plus minus 1. Here the coefficient of minus j is minus 1 square, then minus k is actually minus 1 square. Simplifying this, we will get root 18. That is the magnitude of the resultant vector. then unit vector is equal to vector r, that is 4i minus j minus k by root 18. Actually this is the unit vector. Thank you children. That is the end of today's class. A few problems are remaining. That thing we can do on next class. Thank you.